Did you know that what you're not eating might actually be what's hurting your blood sugar? Since we already know that eating a lot of sugar and eating a lot of the things that we eat in a standard American diet can cause problems for our pancreas and our blood sugar. But did you also know that there's things that will actually help rebuild and repair that? That's what we're going to talk about today. I actually just had a great meeting with a client who is a little frustrated because she is exercising and she's eating all the right foods, and yet she got her blood results and it shows that her hemoglobin A1C is still higher than she'd like it to be. Now, that is, in simple terms, the amount of sugar that's sticking to the red blood cells. And of course, you want to get that low because having crystallized sugar on the blood cell is not good for your health. And so as we got to talking, we kind of discovered that there are many things outside of that that we have to remember are actually good for our pancreas. Now, our pancreas is heavily involved in helping us with our blood sugar balance. And if we've had any damage to it, we can't just assume it's going to go back to 100% after it's had some damage without getting the proper support. So a lot of people don't know this, but all of our organs have preferred foods. They have preferred minerals, they have preferred vitamins, they have preferred herbs. And that's the three things I'm going to go over here today, the three things that you probably may not be using in your life to help give your pancreas. So what have you done for your pancreas lately? Hopefully this video will give you some things to give back to that beautiful little beast in there that is helping balance your life. So number one, there is a mineral that has often been referred to as the glucose tolerance factor. And that mineral is called chromium. And here's a really interesting PubMed article that shows a scientific review, the role of chromium in insulin resistance. Most people don't know that. But right here it says chromium is an essential mineral. That is so important. Essential meaning we have to get it from an outside source. We can't just magically make it appear in our body. We have to eat something containing chromium to get chromium into our body. Now, that begs the question, well, what foods should I be eating that contain chromium? And now you can find many lists of these, and I'm just going to point out one here. Brewer's yeast. I know that's always on your grocery list, I'm sure. But brewer's yeast, it's also called baker's yeast. It's an ingredient that a lot of people spread onto a lot of their foods just to enrich it. It gives you a whole host of different micronutrients. But I found it very interesting that this is a great way to supplement your diet with something that's going to actually bring a whole food version of a food that you probably very much need. Now, I can't help myself but point out when I'm looking at Healthline's list of foods that have chromium that there is an advertisement over here on the right for Zepbound. Now, very interesting, right? Of course, there's a lot of medications out there that are getting a lot of attention. And I just want to take a second here to look at this. And when you're reading this, it's telling you about how it can help with obesity and maybe some other things. But when you go down far enough, these are these GLP-1 categories. There are warnings. I just want us all to be aware that there are warnings here, that it can cause tumors in the thyroid, including thyroid cancer. Now, we've already got a very large percentage of humanity struggling with low thyroid function and damage to the thyroid. So we have to be very careful and know that before we jump in and start chasing things like this. And possible symptoms are, lumps or swelling. And it says don't use if you've, all these reasons. So please read all this down here. Severe stomach problems. I just find it interesting. Gallbladder problems, very common. We lose 12 to 15,000 gallbladders every week in this country, surgically being removed. Inflammation of the pancreas or pancreatitis. Okay, what we're talking about today is supporting and loving our pancreas, not adding things to it that are going to cause inflammation or potentially cause inflammation. And in fact, there's a few great online educational resources that can really go deeper into this and helping people understand that in a lot of these medications, it's up to 9 times a higher incidence of pancreatitis. So we really should be knowing how to feed our pancreas. And one last thing before I flip back here that I wanted you to see is if you go to my website, I actually have a free guide that you can download here. And if you click on that, it's all about healthy blood sugar habits and power to the pancreas, because we do need to be showing our pancreas a lot more love, okay? All of our organs are being kind of just assumed that they're able to continue to function 100% without us giving them what they want and what they need. So there's a lot more information in there that you can look at to help nourish that and get back to your pancreas, help be able to do its job. Because if you've had something happening to your pancreas, and this is how I explained it today. Let's say you've got people out there throwing fire at your house and they're causing this inflammation. So you've got these instigators setting fire. Now, step one is getting rid of those people. Okay, and I think we've been able to do that. Now, step two is going to actually put out the fire, and step three is rebuilding the damage from the fire. And we can't do that unless we have these very specific nutrients, vitamin Bs, chromium, inositol is a very good mineral or a vitamin for the pancreas as well. But two more things that I think you should all know about are some amazing herbs that are out there. And one of those herbs is called berberine. Now, I've talked a lot about berberine lately, but berberine is one that you really have to be careful of the sourcing. Make sure that you know you're getting it from a very good source. And if you don't know how to do that, ask somebody who works in this field, who works with these all the time. There are parts of the world that produce this that have a much higher standard in their production. And those are the ones that I seek out to make sure that if I'm using berberine at all, I'm getting it from them. But you can see here in this article, how cool. The efficacy of berberine in patients with type 2 diabetes. It's been shown to regulate glucose. And as you go down here and you actually get to some of the greater data in here in the results, it'll say that these people were randomly selected. And what we get is this great reduction here in the berberine. There's only 15 people now. It's important to look at these studies and really start them as a conversation point, but not use them as a basis of a complete conclusion over the efficacy of something. Because we only had 15 people in the berberine group and 16, but you did see a consistent reduction in the hemoglobin A1C. And that's what we were concerned about in these individuals over time. And metformin, we had the same thing. There are many other things that were encouraging and worth investigating and looking more into it. Now, the reason I talk about berberine is because it's a natural herb. And it's not just single in its approach to help supporting your body. When you're doing things from nature, you actually wind up getting so many other, what I would call side benefits. And one of them is gut health. Interestingly enough, we get another Zepbound commercial in there. But inflammation, we were just talking about inflammation in the pancreas. Pancreatitis means inflammation of the pancreas. And so we obviously want to help our body manage inflammation. And now we always talk about keeping our brain as healthy as possible. Well, who knew if you're taking this herb and it has been shown to help with your pancreas, it may also be helping your brain. It could be helping with lowering cholesterol. It could be helping with heart health, the other longevity piece that we talk about. Of course, blood sugar, blood pressure. So there's so much, and weight loss, very interesting down there. And this is WebMD. So this is a really interesting way to kind of explore some alternatives that might have side benefits versus side effects. So let's look at side effects. Of course, the FDA is actually going to talk about the safety and warnings regarding the use of medications like metformin. So we were just looking at berberine versus metformin, but now we got to be aware that there are other things that we have to be aware about. Kidney function. Now, kidneys function is something that everybody should be a little concerned about because we have so many dialysis centers, so many things. And what have you done for your kidneys lately? We have to learn about that. And if you guys are interested, I'll make a whole video about those minerals and vitamins and herbs that your kidneys tend to like. Now, this is another herb, not berberine. If you guys stick around to the end, I actually have a crazy thing that is so exciting to share about the pancreas that hardly anybody knows about. But gymnema, now this is a really cool herb as well. It is showing here a possible strategy for the beta cell regeneration of the pancreas. That's what we're looking for, right? We had these things setting fire to our pancreas. We got rid of them. We put out the fire. Now we need to regenerate. So there's a lot of encouraging information out there that we can look at that help us understand that some of these herbs can actually be healing. Now, I'm not claiming that these are going to do everything. I'm asking you to do your own research and look at these as possibilities. Another article, now this is from PubMed as well, that the Gymnema sylvestri is protective. And that's the other thing we need to do, is protect our organs. So there's so many of these great options out there that a lot of people don't even know are available. And I don't want you to just run out and grab berberine and Gymnema. I do want you to talk to somebody who has some experience with this and knows about it, because there's a lot that you could potentially do when guided in the right way. And just do your own research and really keep asking questions about all of these things, all the questions about them, but know that you have other things that you can do. It's not just about making sure that you're exercising and cutting out sugar. We actually have to bring in nutrients that are going to be rewarding us. Now, the final thing that I promised I would talk to you about at the end, and I discovered this several years ago, and this is I don't want anyone to be afraid of this, but I want to use this as empowering information. But a lot of people don't realize that we have these pathogens that we get exposed to, and sometimes they really take their toll and they can wear us out, and they're the kind of things that are sneaky and under the radar, and we don't realize that they're happening, but they're very common and people don't know that either. And one of those is actually when you eat raw foods, or maybe you have exposure to a lot of animals that might be carrying these, is actually getting what's called a parasite. And this is the fascinating thing I want you to see. Intestinal parasites and diabetes. This is a systematic review and meta-analysis. This is from the NIH. So cool to know that there are some other people throwing fire at your pancreas that you can eliminate and get out of your body, and then give your body that chance to heal. And one of them might be a parasite. And a lot of people don't know this, but the results are amazing here. The conclusion is the high prevalence of diabetic patients, that they're having these situations with parasites. So this is something worth looking into. Maybe it's not that you actually just need to take a medication. Maybe you actually need to remove something that's tearing you down from the inside that you don't know is there. And I don't want anybody to freak out about that, because they're very, very effective ways to help get these buggers under control and get them out of your body. All right, so that's at least 3 things that we can think about to be able to protect ourselves. But I want us to rethink all this. Our body's not just breaking down because it doesn't want to do anything anymore, or it's lazy or whatever. Sometimes there are things in our body that are causing it to break down, and we aren't going to get anywhere by ignoring that. We have to get rid of those, and then we can get back to building our body. And one final little secret sauce thing that hardly anybody knows about, that I always want to share with people, is something called a protomorphogen. It's this excellent company who do these nucleic extracts. And sometimes this can be all the difference in being able to strengthen that organ. Now, this is not exactly how this one works, but I was taught when I was younger something called like parts, like parts, meaning that we used to eat the organs of animals. We used to eat the liver, we used to eat the pancreas, and we would get, surprise, surprise, those minerals and vitamins that are in there to help rebuild it. And sometimes we need very specific things to come in and help us protect and rebuild all of our organs. Personally, I do try to go through all of these throughout the course of a year, just to make sure I'm paying attention to all the things and strengthening them as best as I can to keep them strong. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope this was interesting for you. And if you did find it interesting, please leave a comment. If you find anything in here that you disagree with, you think that I misspoke or said wrong, please tell me. I want to make sure that whenever I'm giving you content, that it is absolutely received in an adventurous spirit. I want you to get out there and learn about all of the amazing opportunities you have to continue to make your body healthier, stronger, younger, and really make your body a force, so that all these things out there that are potentially breaking everybody down become less and less of a threat to you, because you know how to keep your body strong. All right, thanks for watching again, and I will continue to make as many videos as you ask, as best I can in the time that I have to do it, and hopefully they'll continue to inspire you all and keep you strong. Have a good one.